Carnival Corporation has just announced that they are making more money than ever before, and boy, are they smiling. Carnival has announced that they made $26.6 billion in revenue, $4.5 billion in profit, over $10 billion of debt reduced in just a couple of years. Ships are sailing full, bookings are strong, and dividends for shareholders are back. But something doesn't add up, does it? Our cruise experience isn't noticeably better. For many, it is noticeably worse. But passengers are not walking away in their droves. Ships are full, people are still booking, but there is a noticeable shift in how cruising feels, and more importantly, in what is included within the price. And we're seeing patterns. Take something simple, nightly turn-down service. For years, this was part of the rhythm of cruising. You would leave your cabin in the evening, go to dinner, maybe watch a show, and when you returned, your room had been quietly prepared for the night. Now, across much of the Carnival group, that has changed. On many ships, cabins are serviced once per day. You see fewer towel animals, stocked minibar has disappeared, and those little inclusions like bathrobes and slippers and those posh little toiletries you used to get on some cruise lines, gone. Over time, the same approach has appeared across multiple areas of the onboard experience. Dining rooms that once offered a wide range of options now include more items at an additional charge. More premium included options like beef Wellington and lobster, they've disappeared on many lines. Specialty restaurants have expanded, but so has the expectation that you will pay to use them if you want the full experience. Drink prices have risen, gratuities and service charges have increased. The service charge is now 20% with Carnival Cruise Line and Princess. I find that mad. Is every penny going to the crew? We'll never know for sure, which is why we always tip personally. A premium Wi-Fi package with Carnival is more than what our internet package at home is for an entire year. Room service, which used to feel like part of the package and included with many cruise lines, including Cunard, is now an extra charge. This has ultimately reshaped cruising. The fare gets you on board, but nowadays the cruise fare just seems like a deposit to get you on board, and then everything else is layered on top. There is a common belief that this is temporary, that this is all part of the industry recovering from the pandemic, that once the debt is reduced and the finances stabilise, things will return to how they were. Never going to happen. This company is no longer in survival mode. This company is doing very well indeed, and good for them. But can they please stop being so bloody greedy? Why bring back more staff, more inclusions, more operational complexity when the product, as it stands, is still selling? Not just selling, but more than it ever has before. The return of dividends shows just how well this company is doing. During the pandemic, dividends disappeared. They had to. The company needed every available cent of capital to survive. Dividends are a reward for shareholders. And we've told you before, shareholders are important, you are not. They are paid out of the record profits that they're shouting about. And that lens is used to look at staffing levels, inclusions, pricing, and onboard offerings. If something doesn't generate profit, it doesn't happen. If something eats into profit, it disappears. Totally different mindset from Royal Caribbean Group, by the way. If they think that something looks cool and they think that they can market a wow factor to potential cruisers, they go for it. That bar on their Oasis class ships, you know, the one that goes up and down, if that bar sold 1,000 drinks a day for 20 years, it will never make a profit. It is there because it looks great. And it's this mindset which makes Royal Caribbean Group ships so much more impressive than Carnival-owned ships, in my opinion. If the business is performing so well, where is that success being reflected in the passenger experience? Brace yourself for disappointment. Onboard partnerships and entertainment have declined over the years. Take Holland America Line. For years, they had a partnership with the Lincoln Center Stage for the Performing Arts. Live classical music, high quality performances. It was a point of difference that elevated the onboard experience. And it's one of the things that made us fall in love with Holland America. That partnership ended years ago, but have they replaced it? Of course not. Just an empty bar in its place, and cruise fares haven't been reduced to reflect the absence. Carnival, if you're doing so well, why hasn't it been replaced? But something else has caught our eye recently. Carnival is proposing to simplify its corporate structure. For years, it has operated as a dual-listed company with a presence in both the United Kingdom and the United States. The plan is to collapse that into a single entity listed in the United States, but incorporated in Bermuda. On paper, this is about efficiency, reducing administration costs, and simplifying governance. It also allows them to be more financially flexible. But with the sort of person that I am, I tend to want to look at the things that Carnival aren't telling me. I think there's going to be some very stark changes. It could change where decisions are made, it could influence which legal systems are used, and over time, it could shift the balance between company and customer. Now, this does not mean that you're suddenly going to lose your rights, the handful ones that you actually have. If you book a package holiday in the UK, those protections will still apply. But beyond that, the cruise industry has always operated within a framework that relies heavily on contract law. When you book a cruise, you agree to a set of terms that define exactly what the company is responsible for, what it is not responsible for, and how disputes are handled. Do you remember in that Netflix documentary where Carnival wrote into their contracts that they never promised a seaworthy ship as a way of getting out of compensation? But I have a very curious mind, and I am beginning to wonder whether being incorporated in Bermuda, whether that is going to limit their liability and whether it could make it harder for passengers to bring a claim. I would be amazed if this restructuring didn't make things more difficult for passengers. I have absolutely no doubt that Carnival will make sure that they're covered in the terms of contract. But if things go wrong, I do worry about passengers being able to challenge cruise lines effectively. Put compensation aside for one moment and let's think about loyalty. I mean, just look at the chaos that we saw last year when Carnival Cruise Line changed loyalty benefits and made your perks harder to access. And we get the usual same PR crap: modernisation, alignment, managing demand. And again, those explanations may have made sense during the recovery period. But now, with record profits being reported, it is reasonable for passengers to ask another question. If the company is performing this strongly, why are your most loyal customers being asked to accept less? But with all this money laying about, what about safety? Overboard incidents keep happening on all cruise lines. They are complex situations, as I told you about in one of our earlier videos about man overboards. But there are technologies available. Man overboard detection systems that can alert crew quickly and improve response times. Some cruise lines have already invested in them. They're already using them. Ambassador Cruise Line being one, and Disney another. Carnival has previously stated that these systems can be complex, prone to false alarms, and those concerns may be valid. But when you're a company that is reporting record profits and you've slashed $10 billion worth of debt and you're returning money to shareholders, I think passengers are entitled to ask, if not now, when? You could ask the same question about the condition of some of their ships. Passengers continue to report cabins that feel tired, fixtures that need attention, general wear and tear that has not been addressed. Every fleet has older ships, that is normal, but the oldest ship in the fleet should offer the same standards as the newest ship. If Celebrity Millennium can look as inviting as a Celebrity Edge class ship, there is now no reason for Carnival to keep ignoring the state of the cabins on Carnival Miracle and the other older ships. And we now know Carnival are rolling in it. So, what's the excuse? Are we beginning to see the contradictions here? Carnival is telling investors that it's stronger than ever. And at the same time, passengers are seeing reduced service touches, more onboard charges, changes to loyalty structures, and areas of the onboard experience that have not kept pace with that financial success. In my opinion, this has got the whiff of corporate arrogance about it. Arrogance in the sense that the company knows that demand is strong, no ships will fill, and passengers don't need anything else. No more attention, because they've given us their money. If the value had increased alongside the profits, it would be easier for many people like me to accept. But when the experience has been noticeably reduced, the costs are higher, and the company is reporting record performance, it does feel like they're laughing in our faces. But not every cruise line is making these same choices. If the changes do not bother you, if you are still enjoying the experience and you just recognise these extra charges and cuts as the evolution of cruising, stick with it. Fill your boots, enjoy yourself. Give it a few years and cruise lines will probably charge you for main dining. But if you have noticed the shift, and if you feel like the value is not what it used to be, and you feel at times like you are being robbed, then there are alternatives. For any cruisers, especially Brits, who are tired of constant upselling, Fred Olsen Cruise Lines offers a very different approach. We have absolutely no financial arrangement with Fred Olsen, we just like them and think they do cruising very well. Service feels personal, drinks are reasonably priced, you are not being charged at every turn, even specialty dining remains accessible with pricing that feels proportionate rather than excessive, with the most expensive restaurant costing just £25 per person, which is about $33. It is not trying to be the biggest or the newest. With 2 ex-Holland America ships and one of the oldest ships still sailing, that would be a stretch. But it is trying to deliver consistency, and it still delivers all those lovely little cruise touches like nightly turn-down service, afternoon tea, a stocked minibar, included room service, information booklets they send you before your cruise. Wants the nostalgia of how cruising felt 20 years ago? Give Fred a try. For those looking for something more modern, more energetic and more inclusive in what is offered up front, Virgin Voyages is worth a look. Restaurants are included, cabins are well designed, you can get a hammock on your balcony. They no longer give you the sex toy though. The food is strong across the board. The experience feels complete without constantly asking you to spend more to unlock it. You even get soft drinks included, and you can grab soft drinks in their buffet. Compared to ships like Carnival Miracle, it represents a different philosophy of what a cruise can be, and they pull it off without squeezing you at every turn. Carnival has made its choice. It is delivering record profits. It is rewarding shareholders. The business is working. If it is confident enough to celebrate that success publicly, why are passengers still waiting for compensation when things go wrong? Why does that process still feel slow, limited, or difficult for people? If you want to see what that looks like in practice, take a look at what happened on the P&O Britannia B530 sailing. God, it makes me angry.